Hi, um, my name's Christopher Chase. I'm a teacher and artist and father and American living in Japan since 1993. And I've been teaching systems science and systems thinking in my classes here. And recently I've presented certain ideas to my students that they find quite interesting, and I've shared this with others on Facebook. I have the pages Creative Systems Thinking and Tao and Zen on Facebook, and Ecological Consciousness with Daniel Christian Wall. And this theory, it's really interesting. So Daniel has a book, Regenerative Cultures, and in the book he talks about designing regenerative cultures and the panarchy theory and adaptive change model. And I've been working on the same ideas out here in Asia with my students and looking at ideas that are similar in Taoism and Zen, and the idea of universal change cycles and three cycles in nature. And this would be it's actually one unified cycle of creation, regeneration, and then deconstruction or degeneration, and then that flows in a circle. Or you can do it as an infinity sign. That would be the panarchy theory and adaptive change. Or you can see it as a circle, as they have in Zen and Taoism, that things rise up, they're born, created, generated, and then we regenerate, and then things take apart, fall apart, and then flow back again. And that's how the universe works, basically. Nature, that's how nature works. Now, what I'd like to propose here, and I put this out as a question actually, is could we consider these to be intelligences? Is this nature's intelligence, this kind of unified? It's almost like these are like laws of nature. And the Hindus understood this like over 2,000 years ago. They have three gods representing these three intelligences or powers or cycles. Brahman represents creativity, and Vishnu represents regeneration, and Shiva represents destruction or taking things apart and chaos at times. But they're understood as kind of working together, and that everything is unified. And those three gods are not separate, they work together. But you don't have to believe in those gods. We can look at them as laws of nature, basically nature's laws, that nature creates and regenerates and then destroys. But can we think of these as intelligences? And I think we can. And it's a question, though, whether people will agree with this. But I put it out, and why I think it would be helpful to think of these as the intelligence of nature and the kind of an intelligence within the universe. The reason I think it would be helpful is so now, especially right now, we have AI. And what is AI? It's called generative intelligence, artificial generative intelligence. But I would propose that generative intelligence, creative intelligence, is here in the universe. It's in our bodies, it's in our brains. Our brains have a creative intelligence. Nature has a creative intelligence. And that's how everything has come into being. We call this emergence. Everything. And so there's a creative intelligence in your body. Think of like, how did we begin? Each one of us began as DNA from our mother and father. And then when those two DNA came together, we suddenly were created, and we're now, and then we created ourselves inside our mother's womb. We used that coding to construct our bodies. We created all our bodies. Every single one of us has created our bodies. That's the creative intelligence of our biology, that we are all, thanks to our ancestors and millions of years of evolution. And nature has this creative intelligence. Evolution is the creative intelligence of nature. And our brains, when we're born, you don't know, you have no skills. I speak English, but when I was born, I spoke nothing. And everyone, we have to generate, we have to create these skills and knowledge with our brain. That's what learning is. Learning is a creative process where we create, we grow skills, we grow knowledge. I have artistic skills because I've been drawing. When I was 3 years old, I started drawing pictures, and I drew like 2 or 3 hours a day until I was, to my 30s. So I have creative skills. I have drawing skills. I cannot play guitar because I didn't spend time creating those skills. We have to create these skills. But I think we also have regenerative intelligence. My body has been regenerating itself nonstop since the beginning. Every single one of us. The plant behind me regenerates itself. The atoms in our cells that were created by the universe early on, all these atoms, and they've been regenerating themselves with the laws of physics. So they regenerate. The atoms exist for billions of years, and our entire bodies are made of codes and molecules and atoms that regenerate across time. So there's a regenerative intelligence. If I cut my arm, my body's going to heal. That's regenerative intelligence of my body. And I think regenerative intelligence includes, if you have friends or you have family and you fight with someone, there's a natural regenerative intelligence to regenerate relationships. That's what love is. That's what love is. That's what kindness is, and friendship. We regenerate our relationships. And so the universe has this regenerative intelligence in many different ways. And if you look out at the problems in the world, it's because these intelligences are sometimes sabotaged or ignored. And understanding this could be really helpful. And then the third intelligence would be degenerative intelligence. What would that mean? That means like understanding how to let go, how to and how to transform your thoughts, let go of ideas, let go of a belief that's blocking you from understanding something, let go of, destructive emotions. People sometimes cycle, issues like depression or addiction are cycles. People are caught in these cycles that are regenerating, destructive cycles. How do you transform those cycles? You've got to let go. We've got to take those cycles apart, those behaviors or those thoughts. And that's a kind of regenerative intelligence. And I think Eastern traditions with yoga, meditation, mindfulness, these are to help us kind of let go of things. And nature does that all the time. Nature has to recycles everything. It doesn't create new oxygen atoms. The oxygen here in this room right now, it's not new. It's been here for, nature's been circulating the same oxygen atoms for millions of years, hundreds of millions of years. The water in this cup has been recycled. Nature recycles everything. And that's part of, so the three work together. There's this intelligence. You have to know how to decompose sometimes. We compose, we create things. We're creative, we work with others and create new things. And right now, I think humanity, the crisis in our world right now, look around, all the problems, war, addiction, the economy, it's because most of the systems have been stuck. They're rigid and stuck in old cycles, old patterns. And we've got to take them apart and create something new, a new kind of political system, new education systems, new economic systems. I mean, you can basically create everything is created and can be recreated. And that's what, to transform like a caterpillar into a butterfly, that happens when you take apart the old structures that are no longer serving a function. They no longer work, and it's time to change them. And that's what human creativity is about, and nature's creativity. I think we see this in nature. Nature's doing this. Nature is who we are. Our deepest identity is nature. So those are some thoughts. Um, your thoughts? Do you agree with this? Um, Thanks for listening, and thanks for sharing this with others, or thinking about it, or giving me feedback. Appreciate it. Thank you.